Minogajep, good morning, and welcome to Native News Online's election coffee break. This is our weekly morning chat about all things election, so grab a coffee and listen in while we discuss the latest November 2024 election coverage with our very own Native News Online election staff. I'm Neely, and I'm coming at you from Lansing, Michigan. I'm the political editor, and I'm joined by Levi Rickard, our publisher and editor.
Hey, Neely, and Marlon is off. Somebody in his community passed away, walked on, and he's doing the ceremony, so he cannot be with us today. But so our uh, sympathies and condolences go to the person up in Ho Chunk Nation up in Wisconsin. So, and Neely, it's been very eventful 6 weeks, hasn't it? And the pundits say that people really don't pay attention to elections until Labor Day. And of course, the last 6 weeks with the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, the withdrawal of Joe Biden, and then Kamala Harris ascending to the presidential nominee of the Democratic Party. What an eventful 6 weeks it's been. And it's almost like never before in American history, politics has this large events like that occurred, and so all within such a short span. And so as now Labor Day has come and gone, I guess we probably should talk about what we're up to. Last week you were with President Trump's campaign out in, what was it, Potterville,
Yeah, Pottersville,
Michigan.
Michigan.
Michigan. Where is Potterville? By Lansing, right?
That is like 20, it's 20 minutes south of Lansing. So it took me like 20 minutes to get there. Um, but yeah, I was with former President Trump last week. And I will say there is a very different overall vibe of Trump's rallies just because he typically doesn't prepare speeches. He mostly speaks from the heart and speaks very impromptu. Obviously, he's given some talking points before he gets on stage of things he wants to touch on. But for the most part, he very much ad libs his speeches. So it is sometimes a little bit hard to keep up with what he's talking about. But for the most part, it seemed like the individuals who attended the rally were very interested in what he had to say.
Yeah, and his venues seem to have changed, whereas before the attempted assassination, he had literally thousands and thousands of people in crowds. But uh, it seems to be more of a controlled venue for him these days. The smaller events. Was it a
I would say, yeah, so
manufacturing company or something? As I
a
recall.
steel working company, yes.
Okay.
Um, so it seems that former President Trump is definitely targeting these small pockets of voters where he can go once and get their support from a lot of them, the majority of them. So he's met with various unions. JD Vance was meeting with the firefighters last week as well. He's meeting with steelworkers. He's meeting with other various unions, even bringing up on stage the Union for Auto Workers for Trump organizer, leader, I guess, of that organization, a small pocket of union workers that mostly converse on a Facebook page. So he's definitely targeting these small pockets of communities, trying to garner their support, small community by small community, because they definitely add up those little pockets of individuals that mostly vote together. You see the Democrats also targeting unions as well. Harris and Walz have been campaigning with the UAW president by their side at most of their rallies. So you really see these two candidates trying to pull the unions to either side.
Yeah, and I was in Detroit yesterday or Monday, uh, and she following this footsteps as I wrote of former presidents Harry S. Truman, Lyndon B. Johnson, John F. Kennedy, and Barack Obama. She went to the Union Town, Motor City, where the world, what they call the automobile capital of the world, and 2 hour drive for me out of Grand Rapids where I live. And so I went over on Labor Day and saw that. And there again, her venue is smaller too, because it was a high school gymnasium in Detroit
Mhm.
with filled with union members, and the union members had various colored T-shirts on, yellow, orange, and reds. The UAW were in red, and I think the ATF, or AFT, which is the Association of Federation of Teachers, they were there in blue, and so it was a really nice crowd. I mean, these are union people, and Vice President Harris really went after that vote and was trying to compare what the Biden Harris administration has done versus what the Trump administration did when they were in office. It was the contrasts are very stark in that the Biden administration is for increasing of the minimum wage. The Trump administration has fought it, and also the overtime pay. There were some drastic steps that apparently President Trump did when he was in office to uh, help eliminate the what is it, time and a half or whatever for overtime pay. And so I think that the contrast is right there, and then I think took notice of the fact that President Trump and Senator J.D. Vance, his running mate, didn't make any campaign appearances yesterday on Labor Day, and so uh, the contrast is pretty uh, is right there for us to see. And I guess if the Republicans want the labor vote, they're going to have to figure out how to get it elsewhere, I think. And Neely, I think another thing I want to talk about has been one of our busiest stories in the last month, and we posted it early on Labor Day, and it is the situation where the Republican nominee for Senate running against John Tester, who is the Democrat. John Tester is the third term senator running for reelection.
Mhm.
Tester is the former chairman of the Senate Committee on Indian Affairs, and he's the former chairman of that committee, the U.S. Committee on Indian Affairs. Uh, he's running up against a guy, Tim Sheehy, who was caught on audio talking about going at 8 o'clock in the morning and seeing these Indians drunk, and these are members of the Crow tribe, and so that article is really blowing up, and just it's almost shocking that these days there's still these people making those racist statements. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it is unfortunate to see that this is an individual who unfortunately believes in the stereotype that all natives are alcoholics or drunks. Um, it's very unfortunate that this individual is running for a elected office and could potentially be making changes to policies that affect Native people. I am wondering, Levi, how the Native community there he was referencing feels about his statements.
Well, and that's I know that I have been in contact with like the Rocky Mountain Tribals Association, and they actually are submitting a letter that I have not seen it yet. It was read to me via the telephone, and we will publish the reaction of those Rocky Mountain Tribal Leaders at Conference. I'm not exactly sure in the title, but it's really the chairman or chiefs. Presidents of the tribes, and there are what, 7 tribes who are federally recognized in the state of Montana. If my memory serves me right. No, eight. I'm sorry, 8 with 7 reservations, and so the vote is very significant, and this potentially could be the uh, downturn because she's actually leading. The last polls I saw were, I think, last Friday, 3.5% higher than Tester, who's up for reelection. And it is a red state. We do know that. However, I will say that, in my opinion, Tester has done some really remarkable things for Native Americans, and he's just recently he sent a letter to the GAO, the Government Accountability Office, demanding to know why there's such a lack of law enforcement on Indian reservations. And the lack of law enforcement on Indian reservations. There's one tribe in particular, the Flathead Indian Reservation, has 8 law officers for the state size of Rhode Island. It's just, that's downright ridiculous. And so Tester, like I said, has done some good things. She may be in trouble. Just the significance of the native vote does, and that's one of the things that we've been trying to do here at Native News Online, is really emphasize the importance of the native vote, and obviously trying to get out the vote, the GOTV as they call it, this election cycle. That's part of what we're doing at Native News Online, is try to get Native Americans who are apathetic, who don't care about it, are apolitical, to say that we make a difference. But let me tell you what happened in 2 of John Tester's elections. Is he won by 50.1, which squeaked by, and I think one was 50.3. There again, squeaking by to get that majority to become the senator. But in both cases, those elections was not, in the state of Montana, for the senatorial position, was not called until the native vote came in from the reservations. So that alone lets you know the significance of the native vote. And so to our viewers, we really do encourage you to get out and vote. And we're not going to tell you how to vote, Democrat or Republican. However, we say vote for Indian country, vote for those things that, those candidates are out there making some strong commitments to help Native Americans. And with census says there's about 10 million Native Americans. That's a pretty significant block of voters, of constituents that need attention. And Native Americans, we have special situations. We're tribally sovereign nations that have treaties that the U.S. government said they were going to do certain things, and quite frankly, it's the native vote that can help make these politicians, hold them accountable so that they fulfill those things that are in the treaties. And that a lot of issues with we know that we have some of the largest health disparities in the United States of any racial ethnic group. And so it really is important that we have people in Congress, people in the White House who understand the needs and the concerns, the issues of Native Americans. Next week, Tuesday night, September 10th. Break that down, viewers. Right after the presidential debate that's going to originate from Philadelphia, ABC News will carry it. And we are going to have on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel and Instagram a commentary from News Online. Our political reporters, it includes me, Neely, Marlin, and we're bringing Suzette Brewer, who is a longtime Native American journalist, to do some fact checking that night. And we'll have some special guests also providing commentary, talking about who won, who lost. Did they talk about Native issues? And sometimes Native issues are, in fact, everybody's issues, right? We one time I got a friend of mine teased me about doing a recall on romaine lettuce on our news site. He said, why was that on there? I said, we ate romaine lettuce too, meaning Native Americans. We're part of the American society. We eat romaine lettuce. So if there's a recall, our people need to know about it. And Native News Online may be one of the few. People get their news differently these days. It's like everybody doesn't turn into ABC or CBS News. They do read Native News Online, and I've been told that we're one of the few websites that people even go to for news. So we do report on that. And so as it relates to the political climate, political issues, there are some issues that are specific only to Native Americans, but there are so many that impact our lives because we live in a very widespread society, if I can say it that way, and we're not a monolith. So there are Native American issues that are real specific to us, as I said, but there are also issues that are just so wide that but they do impact our lives as Native people. So please turn in next week to the presidential debate commentary by Native News Online, and you'll hear more information on our website and our social media channels. So back to you, Neely, and thank you for hosting us today.
Yes, for joining us today, and we hope